Hi, I'm Jerry Meehan. I'm a bass player and I'm from Kent. I think I was first realised I wanted a career in music when I was probably about 12 or 13. My mum's a musician, she's a classical musician, and I was trained as a classical musician. So I was doing that and then took up the bass after that. And I guess the thing that I remember most, I guess, about wanting to be a musician was listening to records and hearing, heroes play bass. But I was also playing bassoon, which is what I trained as classically. So I started learning to play when I was about 8. I had very formal classical training at Cheetham School of Music in Manchester when I was from 12, and I wanted to be a bassoonist or a conductor then. And I stayed there till I was 18. So it was very formal training, and orchestral training and conducting. And within that school, we all played in a band. There was Omar, I don't remember Omar, There's Nothing Like This, and Max Beasley. We all had a band. Yeah, so I got into rock and roll and bass playing then, and that developed, yeah. I think I chose to play the bass. I just thought it was a cool instrument. And in the 80s, it was probably the 80s then, and there was lots of bass playing going on. Mark King, Level 42, there was Marcus Miller, there's, the Jacob story. There's loads of great bass players, and it was easy to find bass lines and stuff. It was, I think that was it. I first got into the industry when I was 18. I had an audition through Melody Maker for a signed act looking for a rhythm section, and the signed act was Midge-Ure. So I got that gig and we went on tour, and I stayed with him for about 5 years. So I think that was when I knew I had a career in it. My biggest influences are so many, really, from classical music to rock and roll, to bass players, to lots of people, to songwriters. I'm a songwriter, producer, and I have a recording studio as well, Wendy House, which is quite well known for singer-songwriters and different people have worked there. I love the Beatles, I love Mahler, I love Mozart, I love, I love loads of stuff. I mean, it's very hard to say my biggest influence, really. I think as a bass player, your character maybe morphs into, and as a session player, you morph into a lot of things to be adaptable in music. So you take things from a lot of places, and I feel like that. I'm not a specialist in one area, and I don't listen or am influenced by one thing, actually. I think your reason for being a bass player maybe, or a session is to sort of be like that and to support and do the music you're doing at the time in the best way you can. My favourite style of music to play, again, I'd say, is a lot of different styles, I'm afraid. I love Latin music, I love playing Latin music, I love playing rock and roll music, I love playing good pop music, I love playing lots of music, really. Yeah, I'm a bit of a chameleon. So outside working with Robbie Williams, I guess going back in the years, that I'd love to have been in the Beatles, I'd love to have been in the Stones, I'd love to have been in quite a lot of bands from the 70s. And I guess it would have been really cool to be in New York in the 50s and playing with Miles Davis on a double bass, or, that would have been cool. What I find most motivating in the music business is the variety of music going on, and the people you work with, because within music you tend to get to know people very well because you have to play with them, and you go on tour and you rehearse a lot. So I think that's what motivates me, and the new music around, and you never stop learning. I think that's important about being a session player. You shouldn't stop learning. My favourite place to play at, is probably a theatre type venue where the sound's great and the audience is closer. I mean, I love doing stadiums and stuff with Robbie, and I love doing studio stuff because it's much more controlled and you can do it again. But it's, live, I think, is a nice, a good sounding theatre. Yeah, something like that, 2,000 sort of seater, intimate but big enough to for there to be some excitement. I love any gig really, if the sound's good and you're not struggling. The advice I'd give to a new up-and-coming player that wanted to be a professional player in the industry, I'd say keep your mind open, practice hard, and never think you know it all. Always be willing to learn, in a new situation, because every artist, especially if you're a bass player or a drummer or a supporting musician, every artist, every singer, every songwriter is very different and expect different things and expect different genres or vibes or the way to play. And what I've learned is there are many songwriters who all, some of them play bass. And for instance, they'll play very differently from a session player. So it's interesting to be able to take things from that. Next for me is Robbie stuff coming up. As you've heard, probably from the other guys, we're busy working on the promo for his new album, and then there'll be a tour next year. There's other stuff I'm doing in the studio. I'm working with Sashina Brahman, who's a great singer, who's up for a Mercury, and that's very different. It's kind of more world music. I'm doing some tracks with her. I'm also doing something called drumandbass.me, which is with Graham Garrett, my ex-drummer, now Michelin-star chef mate. So it's a kind of drummer, bass, cooking thing that we're doing. So that's kind of what's next, yeah.